Get my six. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Homesteading Off the Grid. I know I usually make my videos in the afternoon or the evening, and we are still in the month of October, and I know this month has been all about reading stories from October Nights Part 2, 31 more tales for the Halloween season. I had not planned on making any videos really aside from those because, frankly, I'm viewing it as if I get to take a month off, at least in regard to having to think of content and have to get out there, set time aside. It's been really enjoyable just sitting out here in the yard and reading a story that I wrote. But some weird stuff's been going on here again the last couple of days. Not so much here. What happened here just took place last night. I have a friend he lives down the road a ways, but as far as how the crows fly, or as far as how him, her, it, or they travel through forests, paying no never mind to property boundaries, which affects them not and whatnot, it's not far. So he's been asking me to come out and investigate. It's a place where we went about a year or so ago. This guy's a wonderful guy. He gives me free firewood. Sometimes he even splits it and brings it to my place and stacks it for me. He's just a wonderful guy. But about a year or so ago, he had some really weird things going on his property. He felt constantly like he was being watched. Like if he's got a massive property, a lot bigger than mine. And whereas we have a lot of field and meadow in some areas that we're reforesting, his is mostly forest. And there were certain areas where he would stand or work on his property because, like us, he's very meticulous in regards to keeping his property cleared up. Like right here. See, we got a stick down. This is one of the things I do every morning, usually after my morning run, is I'll do my cool down. I'll just walk a lap around my property and anything. So if anything's changed, if anything's different, I notice it when I see it. And then if there's down limbs or sticks, I can clear them out of the way. As you can clearly see here. And we use this to start our wood stove fires in the winter. So he's like that. He's always out. Wow, heavy mass this year, guys. Here I go, starting to ramble. But we have a couple oak trees here, and man, this is the most acorns I've seen here in one spot in the 6 years we've lived here. So heavy mast, if you're from the country, you know, is indicative of a harsh upcoming winter. It's like Mother Nature provides the food necessary for the wildlife by way of a heavy mast. If there's not a lot, and mast, M-A-S-T, if there's not a lot of nuts and fruit and stuff occurring in nature, it's indicative of a pleasant winter or a more mild winter. I've found this to be true in my own experience. So I was talking to the guy about a week ago, and he goes, you remember when I had you come up last year because I wanted you to look around? And because he used to think I was like a joker. Like he was honest with me because he's from Charlottesville. He said, you know, when I first met you, I thought you were just a dumb hillbilly from West Virginia. He says, but I've since realized you're kind of a genius. He goes, I thought you were just figuring out a way to trick other dumb hillbillies into watching you do your yard work on YouTube so you wouldn't have to have a real job. He said, but the more of your videos I watched, I started actually seeing some things in them. I realized you actually do have a very unique research technique in which you're able to capture stuff on video that other people just can't capture. And he wasn't sure if at the time he was just kind of getting freaked out by watching too many of my videos, or if there was really something in his woods watching him. And he was convinced it was the latter. So I went up, got some firewood, set the camera out, got some footage. And a lot of our viewers saw the shadow people type entities. You know, for those of you who have been following the True Haunting Saga, Volume 1 is available with an autograph in print from our Etsy store. You can get it in print and Kindle on Amazon. I think it was it Teresa Neville? Shout out. Recently submitted a story for part 2 about what she calls the tree bark monster. And it's kind of like a nature spirit or a nature entity that shows up when somebody close by is kind of going through some hard times. Was it her? Well, I'll give her a shout out anyway. No, I think it might have been Mustard Seed Faith Grows YouTube channel handle down there in Louisiana. One of the two. So anyway, my friend was like, okay, I'm convinced now, maybe you're not quite the dumb hillbilly from West by God, Virginia. I thought you were. And he's a Virginia Tech grad and alumnus. So that's why, they're arch rivals with WVU, who I'm not a fan of. I'm a fan of UVA. But too bad the Mountaineers kicked the shit out of the Hokies there in football a couple weeks ago. Just humiliated them. But anyway, and who would have a neutered turkey as a mascot? Do you know that's what a Hokie is? The Virginia Tech Hokies. Let's go! Turkeys that had their balls cut off. I know, right? So anyway, he's gotten back in touch, and he told me that it's happening again. It's happening all over again. And they've been hearing strange cries in the night, or strange screams in the night. Like, he says he believes he has heard mountain lion screams before. There's not supposed to be any mountain lions in our part of the world, but I think that's false. I think we've actually captured footage of mountain lions here on this channel a couple of times. So my right arm is getting tired. It's starting to shake. Continue to get my 6 as we near the wood line. So he said it was like a cross somewhere between like a scream and a roar, kind of like mountain lion / safari, Sahara desert, Africa jungle lion, wherever those things live. But it was very ominous, very deep. He said it reverberated, okay, like it almost like it was echoing off of the surrounding hills, the surrounding mountains. And he's like, "Would you mind to come out? I got a little bit more firewood for you." Very loud, thunderous tree knock. Listen, he lives that way. Now, it's a considerable distance, but I'm coming up here before I get in the truck and go to his place for a reason. I heard these roars last night as well. Both Dearly, my beautiful bride Dearly, a.k.a. Giggly Girl, and our son Daniel have like a stomach bug. It's not the big C or the little C. They don't have a fever. They just have nausea. And I don't think it was anything they ate because I have been eating everything they've been eating and I'm fine. But they've got something. So when my wife gets sick, she doesn't sleep well. I think this is the case for a lot of people. And last night, it's like every time I fell asleep, she would like twist and turn and kick, and she would kick me and it'd wake me up. And I'm a very light sleeper. I haven't always been, but it's part of my little souvenir from the war in Iraq, PTSD. Very insomnia. I mean, it's just, it's my participation prize I got for participating. So by 1 o'clock in the morning, I was like, I can't stand this. I have got to get some sleep. So I went upstairs. Our master bedroom is downstairs, which was common in the old farmhouses built in the early part of the last century, like ours. So it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm upstairs, and when I have a night like that, and I wake up over and over, I get pissed. I get pissed off, and I have to like calm down in order to go to sleep. So I was reading. Started a book I've been meaning to read for years, actually, but finally got to it on the bottom of the pile. It's called Emotional Intelligence 2.0. It was interesting because I'm a huge believer in emotional intelligence. It's real. It's science, brah. Google it. But it said in there, the reason they started studying emotional intelligence is because they couldn't understand why 70% of people who have very high IQs underperform everybody else in the world who has average IQs. You got people with average IQs, and then you got the gifted, like, the smartest guy in the room complex who go on and on about how smart they are. 70% of those people don't actually succeed in life as much as people of just average IQs. And so many people come to mind as I'm talking about this. Well, the reason why is because a lot of these smart guys and smart girls are not very emotionally intelligent. They let their emotions dictate their moves, their ego a lot because they know they're smart. And trust me, don't take my word for it. A lot of them will just tell you. While the average, the commoner IQ guys like me, we're like, man, I wish I was as smart as you. I'd be a doctor, but I'm not. So I have to go figure it out in some other way. And we do, and then we succeed. And they're sitting over there pissed off because, wait a minute, you're a dumb hillbilly from West Virginia. And I went to UVA and I have a master's degree and I can't afford to pay my bills and you're killing it and your wife's young and pretty and you have a great relationship with your son. I hate you. That kind of thing. It's because we let logic dictate our next move, not our emotions. So it's a book about that and how you can actually, if you're already emotionally intelligent, you can become more emotionally intelligent. And if you're emotionally stupid, like a lot of these highly educated folks who went to prestigious universities, who just can't figure out, figure out the fact that you can't eat that degree. Did you hear that howl? So anyway, I'm up there in the guest room upstairs, which I've converted into my office, setting up 1:30 in the morning, reading Emotional Intelligence 2.0, and I hear that scream. I hear that. There's another tree knock, and it's closer. It wasn't as loud, but it was closer. I just hear the scream. I hear this roar. I've never heard anything like this. Like I said, I do believe we have captured pumas on video here, things that are not supposed to be here. But I heard from up here, it was close. I heard it once, and then I heard like a light grunt, and it sounded like two different entities, if that makes sense. And of course, no, I didn't come out. Hell no, I didn't come out. Are you crazy? Me and my wife were watching a scary movie just before we went to bed, because that's what we do in October. We just binge watch scary movies, just like we do the other 11 months of the year. And in the movie, it was called Static. We only got halfway through it. We're going to watch the other half tonight. It had the guy in it that played Rocky Balboa's son in Rocky Balboa, which would be Rocky Part 6. And like, this girl comes to the house. She's all scared because there's these guys in gas masks chasing her through the dark night. He's like, oh, I'll go check it out. I'm not that guy. I'm like, get the hell in the house, lock the doors, hide in the closet until the sun comes up. You know, you don't, oh, guys chasing you in the darkness in gas masks? Let me go check it out. Probably just the neighbor's kids. So no, I didn't go out when I heard that loud roar. Oh my God. Oh my God. That is like the most graphic thing I have ever shown on YouTube. That's part of it. That's like guts from something that once upon a time.